I think Islamic countries are disgusting, and I don't care if they're bombed. I really hope that we can get as many women and children out of there, and then we can just kill every single Muslim man. I don't give a. I think life would be better.
No, they don't.
You don't think there's going to be a little bit of irony if 6 million Palestinians get killed? You don't think there's going to be any irony there?
There'll be irony, but nobody in the
You don't think anyone's
Think about how stupid do you have to be? How stupid? No, I'm okay. I'll be racist. I am Islamophobic. I am Islamophobic.
Lav, say it with me. I'm saying where it's white, because if it's not white, it's not right.
It's not right.
Am I right, my sister?
Because
what do you guys think about Ben? What do you think about the Israeli-Palestine conflict?
I think it's horrendous what the Israelis are doing.
Why?
They haven't killed.
Why do you care about a bunch of mud people?
I don't see. I love Palestinians. I think they're terrific people.
Have you met?
You know who I fucking hate? You know who I fucking hate? You know who I fucking hate? Obnoxious fucking Jews who are racist.
What do you hate about? What do you like about Palestinians?
Paranoid Jews who think they're victims when they're wealthy, well-connected, have all the military in the world. That's fucking horrendous. Yes, I hate them.
Have you talked to Arabs ever? They're the exact same.
Wait, Ben. Ben, hold on, Ben. So the Jewish victims of October 7th, they're not actually victims, even though they're dead. They're not actually victims because they're Jewish and in a well-connected state.
Well, they're victims of lousy Israeli security. If you're going to pen up 2.5 million people behind a wall,
okay, so not the people killing them, the people who are protecting them, not the people who are killing them, though. They are fine. No Palestinians to blame.
Whose job was it to protect those people?
Whose job was it, like, not to kill anyone?
That is a good point. I mean, but here's my thing.
If you're going to pen up 2.5 million people and deny them basic human rights, and they go a little bit crazy.
Who's denying? Wait, what are you fucking talking about? Who's denying who basic human rights?
The Gaza Strip is an open-air prison.
This is dude. You guys are so this stupid, retarded propaganda. In what ways is it an open-air prison, Ben? Go ahead.
They have no voting rights, no political rights. They can't move freely. They have no access to their own air and their own land.
That is not
dependent by a fucking
That's
wall.
not Israel's fault.
Who will kill supposedly any who walks near the wall, but lo and behold, they just walk right through it. How is it not Israel's fault?
Whose fault is it that they can't vote?
The first
and those people are in the Gaza Strip because they got thrown off their own land by the Israelis.
Okay, first of all, do you know 30% of the Israeli? Hold on. 30% of the Israeli population are people who call themselves Palestinians.
20%.
No, it's 30%.
Right, and they keep 30%. 30% around because they need someone to mow the lawn and do all the shit that Jews don't want to do. Right, they're the who are allowed in. Right.
Jesus. Okay, beggars can't be choosers. Beggars can't be choosers. You're in a government. They had
50 million refugees.
They had million. They had literally like hundreds of years to create any sort of government or to progress themselves in any sort of way, even before 1947.
Okay, so you're saying Palestinian Arabs are inferior people. Okay, I agree. Yeah. You're a racist. You are a racist. They're not.
I'm saying that
culture was sophisticated. You cannot say
in what way, to what degree. What does sophistication mean to you?
You don't think Arab culture is sophisticated culture?
No, they're barbarians.
Are you unaware of the glories of the caliphates? There were real
the glories of marrying off 14-year-old girls and putting gay people in prison.
Wait, the caliphates were like the European empires, just more barbaric and more savage. It's more like the Mongolian invasion of Europe.
In medieval times, the Muslim empires were the pillars of civilization. That's definitely true.
Dude, you're mad. Everyone's mad that a bunch of mud people are getting killed because their mud person government doesn't fucking protect them.
Why don't you call Xena a mud person? Let's all be racist. Let's say anyone who doesn't look like me is a subhuman, and I can genocide.
It's not a racism
Bro.
issue, Ben. Ben,
Why do
literally.
you call them mud people? Because they're darker?
Palestinians and
That's supposed to be what I
Israelis
do. That's what I'm supposed to be what I do.
80%
I'm a
of their
white
racial
Aryan
background.
motherfucker.
Ben, Israelis and Palestinians share 80% of their racial background. Like that's not the fucking
Ashkenazi
problem.
Jews are majority
Mud people,
European.
they're like Ewoks. That's not true. That's not true.
Oh, please.
like-
Ashkenazi
like-
Jews are majority European. Everyone knows
Ashkenazi
that.
Jews are not
Jesus Christ,
the biggest population of people in
They're the rulers.
Israel.
They're the rulers.
Is not
They're the
Ashkenazi.
rulers. Ashkenazi are the
talking
elites.
Because they're smarter.
Ashkenazi are the elites. Come on, give me any kind of thing that everybody knows.
Wait,
which is that
the
Ashkenazi
Europeans are
Jews
the rulers?
are the
How would that
who
be?
made the whole
That's
thing happen.
Darwinism.
They had
That's
all the money.
Darwinism. Smarter people are going to stay in charge. They're going to be in charge. That's a good thing.
Okay, but they're not Palestinians. They're Europeans.
Yeah, no kidding. A Palestinian is not going to be a fucking leader of Israel. Are you stupid?
Why not?
They're not smart
Wait,
enough. They
what-
like,
they're
what the
not-
hell
they
they
have
own
no
their own
education.
Just
country.
you're a racism. You're a racist. Okay.
They have
Look
no
at how they rule their own
education.
country.
I feel like
Yeah, they don't even.
I feel like from Ben's perspective, he's inclined to favor the Palestinians because he's an everyman, like working man type of guy, and they're like just people. He's focusing on like the population.
So are it's
of
most
civilians.
Israelis.
However,
Look, if there's
However,
anyone who's going to be a
if
white
you think
supremacist,
about-
it's me.
Okay.
I'm Hitler's fantasy. Bitch. I'm
Okay.
6'8". I'm
No, you're
Norwegian.
not.
I'm the Nordic god. If anyone wanted to be a
the
white supremacist, it'd be me. I hate white supremacism.
The government that represents
Blam.
Palestinians,
But
though-
Jews shouldn't really try to edge in, mother.
the government that represents Palestinians though offers offers government money to kill Israelis. Like this is before the recent attack on October 7th. Like if you as a Palestinian can prove you killed an Israeli, you would get paid. That's
Look,
like
here's-
the way their
here's-
government
he-
is structured.
here's the
You can't be
problem with the
favoring
Hamas
a
attack.
government that's like that. It's like barbaric.
Here's the problem with the Hamas attack. How are they not winning? I'm not going to argue that it's moral to do that, but politically, it's been incredibly advantageous because they got the Israelis to show their colors to the whole f***ing world, which is
No,
that they're genocidal maniacs,
Okay,
and they
so
are
you're-
now
Okay.
turning. Hamas has turned the
What
entire
country
world
is
against
Gaza
Israel.
will not exist in 2 weeks. It was the worst political play they could have fucking made.
What's
Wait,
going to
the
happen?
worst political
What's going to happen to
world.
2.5 million people? What's going to happen to 2.5 million people?
Who
They're going to
cares?
be. I mean, they're going to be
Yeah.
completely
I
displaced.
care. That's who cares. I care, and
Why?
the world cares.
No,
Killing
they don't.
You don't think there's going to be a little bit of irony
Nobody
if
fucking
6 million
cares.
Palestinians get killed? You don't think there's going to be any
Dude.
irony there?
That's
There'll
mostly
be irony, but
By
nobody,
Jews?
nobody in the
You don't think
US is
anyone-
like
Think
Because
about
you
how
don't
stupid. How stupid do you have to be? How stupid to be? How stupid do you have to be for like the IDF to be like get the fuck out of your house and to listen to Hamas that's telling you to like not leave your house and then to stay in your house as it gets blown up? You're retarded. Get the fuck out of your house.
They want them to out of Israel, right? Their homeland, and they're
No.
gonna go to Egypt.
No,
Yes, they
you're
do.
no,
Push 'em
you're
to South Gaza. What do you think's next?
You're retarded. You're retarded. Literally, Hamas is who wants Jews out of Israel. Israel can live in Netanyahu has tried to live peacefully
That's
in a
lie.
two-state solution.
Lie.
He's tried to.
That's a total
It is
fucking
literally-
lie. Why do you put
What's a lie?
300,000? Why do you put 300,000 settlers illegally in land that is going to be the Palestinian state? You have no real impetus. He does not. He wants to wipe the Palestinians out. He's
He
a
could have done
genocidal
that in the.
maniac.
He could have
made
done that for
Hitler
years.
look like a nice guy, honestly.
Ben, why hasn't he done that in the last 20 years? Then, why hasn't he? He's had the power to. No, he hasn't.
He has allowed the settlement of hundreds.
This is
of
the
thousands of
highest body count, highest death count of Palestinians ever recorded, higher than Nakba. Now, after the terrorist attack, because you f- around, you find out. You f- around, you find out.
What do you find out?
You're going to do a terrorist attack. Yeah, you're going to do a terrorist attack against a much more militarized, better government than you. You're going to get going to get nice.
Lav,
Nobody's gonna cry about that.
who introduced terrorism to the Middle East? Who?
I mean, who introduced violence to the Middle East?
Jewish militias. No, terrorism.
No,
Jewish militias.
in the Quran,
They terrorized the
Ben,
British and they
Ben,
terrorized the Palestinians.
Ben,
no, wait a
shut
second.
up.
Wait
No,
a second.
the Quran is the most violent holy book, and it's not only just a book of religion.
No,
It is a political. It is a political and religious text.
Right,
it is
it
extremely
definitely is.
violent.
Right.
It is extremely violent. They are and
not
also
extremely
Islam.
violent. No, it
Yes, it
isn't.
is. Islam is also still in its infancy, right? So if you are against the
isn't.
book, yes, it is. It's only 600 years old. It's a young woman.
It was founded in 700. Do some math. That's 1,300 years. That's not a young.
No, dude, no,
That
you're
is
stupid.
the youngest religion like active on Earth.
It is the youngest
No, it
religion.
isn't. Zionism is the dumbest
1970s.
religion.
Of the Abrahamic religions. Of the Abrahamic religions.
Christians have been doing that forever, though.
Yes, it is of the Abrahamic religions. It is the youngest. And it's still in its infancy.
right.
There hasn't been enough time.
It is
Christians.
infancy.
Yes, it is. Christians have had much more time to translate the Holy Book out of the Old Testament and make it modernized and less violent.
Right.
Muslim people have not. It is a barbaric text that you have to follow
Listen, bitch.
by the Word of God. It is the
Listen,
Word of God, no substitutions. It is an
Okay.
extremely violent book. It is It's like Old Testament,
You're a
stone
Jew,
people to
right?
death. No.
What?
You're a
Wait,
Jew.
this is the
Okay.
First I'm hearing of that.
What
I
did
am
Benjamin
14% Jewish, and
No,
it's
no.
funny to call myself Jewish.
Okay.
What did Benjamin Netanyahu 2 days ago appeal to in the Old Testament as the model for what he's doing? The Amalekites. The Amalekites, God told to wipe out every man, woman, child, goat, ox, every in there because the Jews need to take it over. That's not primitive. No Arab says like that.
First of all,
But
I
that's
am
very
not.
good.
I think Netanyahu is the Trump of Israel. I am not pro Netanyahu. But when you think about a president that
Hitler.
needs to,
He's the Hitler of Israel.
you're so stupid.
He makes
It's
Hitler
insane.
look moderate.
Wait.
Let's be
You're,
honest.
you're so stupid.
Hitler
That's
would
the
have never
dumbest
said
thing
the
I've
shit
ever
that
seen in my
Netanyahu
fucking
says.
life. What are you talking about?
The leader of the IDF called Palestinians animals. It is common in Israel.
They are animals.
Palestinians are not animals.
They shit in the street. They eat fucking solder. They're fucking animals. They 15-year-old girls. What are you talking
racist.
about? That is nothing. I don't think that it's intrinsic to being brown to be an uncivilized people. There are
Yeah, you
plenty of
do. Yeah, you do.
civilized brown people.
No, you think that some races are better than others.
True.
I think that Western influence is better than Middle Eastern influence for fucking sure. Yeah,
Right, you're a racist.
that's not
No wonder you
racism.
No wonder you want to suck my. You want.
I
to
would
be
rather eat my
with
own
an Aryan
spine.
God.
I would rather
Lav,
eat my own
Lav,
spine.
Are you trolling?
You're a
There's no way you're
self-loathing
saying
Jew.
Palestinians are animals? No way you're actually saying that. They're
What are
animals.
you talking about? They're an uncivilized, barbaric people.
They're human
Lav,
beings.
Lav,
Okay, wait,
Lav,
Okay.
Lav.
To
What did
clarify,
Hitler
Lav,
say
someone-
about
wait,
the
stop,
Jewish
stop, stop, stop.
people?
Someone
What
who
did he
what
do?
did he
How
say?
did
Let me tell you why. And let me tell you why. Shut up. Shut up. Let me tell you.
Dehumanize them like you're dehumanizing
Shut the
the
fuck up.
Palestinians.
No, there's a very big difference here. This is a big
there isn't.
difference. So
No,
Jews
cockroaches and
Jews were
vermin.
believed intrinsically due to phrenology, due to blood quantum, that they were a lesser people because of the fact of being Jewish. Palestinians are a lesser people because Hamas has taken away their ability to be educated, to get jobs.
So
They
as
they
a
can't.
clarifying question, if a Palestinian ethnically was raised in the West, in a Western country, their whole life and acted a lot like me, you wouldn't think that they're subhuman.
Of course not. I don't think they're subhuman now. I think that they are a barbaric people because they have no
lying.
Western influence.
You're lying.
What do you mean?
You said that when the Israelis showed up, they showed up to a barbaric, backwards people.
They did. They weren't even a f***ing country. They were an occupied land.
Being a country does not mean that you're a human.
They have for hundreds of years. For hundreds of years, they didn't even try to get
You're
statehood.
part of the Ottoman Empire.
Okay.
That doesn't make you uncivilized.
Then okay. Yeah. First
So
of
if you're
all,
not Jewish, what are you? Because I'm
The
less
Ottoman
attracted to
Empire
Jewish
took
women now.
Christian children from their homes and enslaved them.
So what?
This is not like a civilized empire.
The Ottoman Empire had no civilization. I mean, come on. What's
was
next?
not
The
to the-
Egyptians
wait,
were.
It didn't
Come
have
on, give me a
morality the level of like the Western
It makes sense,
nations,
Ben.
even
Ben,
in the
it makes
Middle
sense.
East.
It makes sense
People
that
are late
you.
on the scene of civilization. It's
But it makes sense that
Christianity.
someone who sexually abuses their daughter, it makes sense that you would be sympathetic to Palestinian causes. It makes sense. It makes sense.
You're 2 seasons behind.
Why?
Nobody believes that anymore.
But
How would that even
You're
make
doing
sense
it. You're doing it
regardless?
in this VC.
Yeah.
I think Islamic countries are disgusting, and I don't care if they're bombed. I really hope that we can get as many women and children out of there, and then we can just kill every single Muslim man. I don't give a. I think
Those
life would be
Zionists-
better.
Right. And you're
It's
gonna
not
be
even about
signing your
Jewish. It's
own-
not even about Zionism.
You're
It's.
gonna be
I wish if America did it, it would also be sick. If the UK did it, it would also be sick. Western
ask-
takeover in all of the world.
Let me ask you, how many
the
Muslims have you ever met? How many Muslims
Barely.
have you ever met?
Too
in
many.
I am not 30%. I'm 13% Jewish.
Just
Oh, I
Jewish
thought you
enough to
said
get a
30.
How many Muslims?
Win the NFC
How many
North and
Muslims
the
do you know?
Super
How
Bowl.
many Muslim countries have you visited? They're not.
Why the would I go to a Muslim country as a woman?
She'd be in
Why
danger.
would I do that?
Racist. To become less of a racist.
No, I'm okay. I'll be racist. I am Islamophobic. I am Islamophobic. It is actually it's not an irrational fear to be
Yeah, it is.
scared of
It's
Islam. It
irrational.
is a very
Yes.
rational fear.
Here, would you be safer as a woman on the streets of LA or in a Muslim country? In a Muslim
The
country.
streets of LA.
No way.
What the f- are you saying?
No way.
People who like have gangs
On
who
the
like
streets of
storm
LA, you're
European
allowed to own a
streets
gun.
and hordes of German women. These people are not
Hordes of
civilized.
German.
They
No,
did.
they
There were
didn't
like
deport
there
them.
were
No.
thousands of reports in like one New Year's Eve, mostly
That's a
from Muslim
complicated
men.
situation. I'm not a
It's
Muslim.
not.
I'm-
You have a bunch of like foreign hordes fleeing into your country, and these people come into your country and they rape your women en masse. That
Oh,
shows
give me
there's
a break.
deficit. There is a deficit of
Give me a
humanity
break.
in these people that cannot
No.
be rectified with our way
Okay.
of life.
So you're
These
a
people are
racist too.
incompatible.
So you're a racist. Okay.
Slay.
So you two are racist.
Slay. I'll be a racist. I'll be a racist then. I don't give a
I do. I
They
think that
deserve
sucks.
it. Like if you act like a baboon, like I'm a
Listen,
baboon.
listen. Just because people say sucking and taking it up the might not be the best idea doesn't mean they're subhuman. Okay, they have a point. It's not the best idea.
I hope that this is what I think that I think Palestinian women and children.
You ain't gonna have no population if you're sucking and taking it up
All
the.
that invading Europe in like hordes. Though.
They're
I'm not sure
right.
if I'm with that really.
They're right. It's not a good idea.
The women and children of Muslim countries should seek refuge in Western countries. I think that we could all make room for them.
Right.
And
Ethnic cleansing. You're promoting ethnic cleansing. Why can't people who were in a land who were colonialized
what are you talking
by
about?
European Ashkenazis?
Colonialism is good. Colonialism is good.
No, it isn't. It's racist.
Name one time colonialism hasn't been good. Name one time.
Name one time it has.
Name one time.
What was the life expectancy of Africans from the 1600s to the 1700s?
I love Africans.
It doubled. It doubled. These people's lives were saved.
Africans are happier. Africans are happier in Western countries. That's why so many Nigerians move to
No, they're
places
not.
like America, move to places like the UK.
No, they're
yes,
not.
they
This is a
are.
lie. You don't know shit about Africa. I know Africans.
Oh my
They
God,
prefer
Ben.
to be in Africa. It's a beautiful
He has a
country,
black friend.
teeming with children. They love God. They love their
Country, They
families.
just need
Don't
rolling
be
glass.
such a fucking
They don't have
racist.
enough
Horrible.
or like peace or stability.
They don't
It has
see
nothing-
America as perfect. They
You have
hate
no
feminism.
idea. What is
They
the
hate
definition of racism?
homosexuality.
What's the definition of racism? What's the definition of racism, Ben?
Thinking your race is better than another race.
Based off of what?
Based off of bull.
Based off of what, Ben?
Or whatever. We build taller buildings. We make computers. Whatever. bull
You
wanna
are
say.
you're
Genetics versus culture.
yeah. It's genetics versus culture. It is perfectly normal and
There are
an
genetic
act.
differences. I don't deny that.
But I don't care about the genetic differences at all. I hope that America becomes an even bigger melting pot. I hope that we all become like one homogenous brown race that is like amazing, right? I don't care.
Don't.
Okay, but what if Jews like you decide we want to get rid of the Arabs and wipe them out like they
Nobody wants to do that. We're so retarded. Oh my god,
You
you're
don't
so
think you don't want
I want to
listen,
be doing that, bro. I want to be doing that. Greenland.
You're so stupid.
if
You're so
America said
stupid.
we'll take all the Palestinians in, the Jews would have a problem with that too. Because they know
No, they wouldn't.
Palestinians would come over here and be successful and turn America
They've been
against
successful
Zionist
at lots
project.
of things. Fraud, crime.
Palestinians are very smart people. I don't know why you guys are so
Yeah?
Wait, how are they smart?
They're very smart?
Yes, they are. Yes,
Okay,
they are.
how do you measure that? How do you measure that?
It's an average IQ of like 85.
How do you measure how smart they are?
They're a very sophisticated.
The amount of the amount of college-educated people.
I've known them, and they're very.
What does sophistication mean to you? What does sophistication mean to you, Ben?
I think it's the opposite of like caveman. They have sophisticated culture. They have incredibly sophisticated.
They live in like mud houses. They live in cement houses, and they pack millions of people. They pack millions of people into like a one shack.
Stereotypes are not healthy. Every year in Africa is swinging
What are
from
you
a vine
talking
too, right?
about?
Because I read Tarzan, right?
The only people in Palestine who are living well are Hamas leaders and their families. That is it. Everyone else is living in abject poverty, Ben.
No,
they're not educated.
The
unemployment
have a
rate.
good life in a prison.
That's so stupid. We give millions and millions of dollars in aid to Palestinians, and all their government the government doesn't know how to allocate funds to anything. And what they do is they create weapons, rockets, and bombs instead of feeding their people and creating schools. They are a stupid people.
Who's we? Who's we? Who's we?
Westerners.
Jews. Right?
No, the U.S. just gave gives millions of dollars. What does open air prison even mean? What does open air prison mean, Ben? This is a propaganda.
No, it's not. It is what it is. 2.5 million.
They democratically elected Hamas, which is a terrorist organization.
It is not only a terrorist organization.
Their aim, they got elected off the fact that they wanted to get rid of Israel.
The government is a terrorist organization. Read the
God. They are not an extremist. They're not a religious Okay, your brain doesn't work. Hamas is a religious extremist organization that wants to wipe Israel off the map. That is their main aim. That is their charter. Okay, so when you put people,
want to do that, why would you want to do that? Well,
you're
the
stupid.
Africans wanted to wipe Rhodesia off the map. They did.
Okay, so should we not let anyone into America?
No.
I have no problem with that.
I hate immigrants.
I think the Palestinians and Israelis can. I think that.
So you want every state to be an ethno-state?
Yeah.
Israel is the only racist country in the world.
You're Ben. We're the dumbest person alive.
Not China, not to like Mongol, not any other country.
China does not say this
there
is
are over 40. There are over 40 Muslim countries. Over 40. There are over 40 Muslim countries. There is one Jewish country.
Racist. Okay, but you're using Jewish. You're using Jewish as religious. Israel was not founded by religious Jews. Religious Jews thought it was a terrible idea. They hated.
What are you talking about? You're Yes, you are. Israel was started because people believed, especially the UK believed, that Jews had a right to a self-determined state because of centuries of prosecution and persecution.
They define Jews as an ethnic group. Don't you understand that?
No, Ben, how do you explain Jews?
They were anti-religious people.
How do you explain Jews like Abraham Stern, who were very much Zionist and very much religious, who also wanted Israel?
The founders of the state of Israel, by and large, were secular people who hated religion.
There were plenty of religious Jews who they did not hate religion when they founded Israel. And many religious Jews were on board with the creation of Israel as well.
Many religious Jews, especially devout ones, hated the Zionist project.
A very specific Orthodox subsect of Jews did not want Israel. A very specific sect.
There were tens of thousands of Jews in Grand Central Station saying, "I hate what this is going on in my name." Tens of thousands of them.
These Jews have lived in America for like 200 years. Why do they need Israel? They're not the people who are like being.
I agree. Why do Jews need Israel? It makes them look terrible.
They don't.
And
They don't.
it causes anti-Semitism worldwide. The FBI just
It's their fault.
the alert level on terrorism. Why?
It's their fault.
Because we've allied ourselves with a racist regime that is now going to kill our kids, if either by having them sent over to fight a war, which will be now the third or fourth foreign war that's got nothing to do with me and my kids, or because they're going to come here and kill us to say, please stop.
They're never going to do that.
You ever heard of 9/11?
Oh,
They took the World Trade Center down. That never
All I'm
happened to
gonna
you.
say is, we
Wait, are you
the Middle
saying
East
the Israelis
runs
did
the world
9/11?
after
They did that
9/11.
because of our
Listen.
ridiculous alliance with the Israeli colonial project.
The
And we
Israelis
showed
did
up.
9/11.
We for a
Stick to the
billion
porn, Lav.
people,
Stick
we
to the
killed
porn.
over
Israelis
a
don't
billion
understand
people
politics.
to show the world that you do not us. Israel might be responsible for like, oh, the Arabs wanted to do 9/11 because the U.S. is with Israel or whatever. They're not doing that shit again
No,
because
wrong.
we
That's
showed
not
them
what
in
happened. The
blood
Israelis
that we're
did
not going to.
no. The Israelis did 9/11. They did 9/11, and then because the Arabian countries already wanted to kill Saddam Hussein, they were able to bribe and then frame Saddam Hussein to put all the fucking pressure on him. Have you not seen New Mech?
That's a
stole
little
30
bit too.
Saddam
That's a
Hussein
little
had
bit
nothing to
too.
do with
No.
9/11.
32
No.
pounds of nuclear fucking weaponry from us. Literally 32 pounds of nuclear weaponry from us. From a power plant. And that was the Israelis. They did 9/11.
I
They
don't
did
think so.
9/11 with nuclear power plants, stolen fission material.
don't need to
the
do
US
that much
declare
more
war
deep
on
chest.
Iraq. Like, America didn't even declare war on Iraq because of 9/11. They did it for like other reasons. Mostly, they just wanted to like.
That
Dick
was
Cheney made money off the Iraq War.
They did it to weaken Arab states
Yeah,
on
we
behalf
declared
of
war on
Israel.
Afghanistan for 9/11, and we showed Afghanistan to not with us again.
The Israelis control American
The
foreign
Middle
policy.
East is never going to f with us again. It's like just not going to happen.
If Israel controlled American foreign policy, then
Nice
how did
try,
America like? Why was Israel not a major non-NATO U.S. ally until what, the 1980s?
Hey, Lav. Do you think synagogues in America are safer after what Israel did to the Palestinians, or less safe? Because the FBI has said less safe. I'm just saying. She's saying
Jews were already the highest hate crime group in America.
I asked you a question. Can you answer it?
Wait, but you're saying, but that they
Can
didn't
you
do
answer
anything.
the question?
Whose fault is it that a bunch of
They didn't do
over-emotional
anything-
monkeys can't control themselves and have to go blow up synagogues?
Beautiful.
Yeah,
Racism from a. Okay, so you're gonna put your
That's
life
what
on
it
the
is.
line. All right. That's fine, and you won't see any irony in the fact that like people have wanted people like
This
you.
is
No
Oh,
problem.
God.
We'll just call them monkeys.
Not really.
And when they call us and throw us off buildings, no problem. I won't
Yeah, I'm
recognize
fine with
any
that.
irony.
That's like buffoonery.
I can't wait until
I hope you say that if they throw you off the building.
I can't
I won't
wait
be going to
until
a Muslim country, so I'm good.
Palestinians westernize and they join the rest of the world.
Well,
Lab, say it with me. I'm saying where it's white, because if it's not white, it's not right.
It's not right.
Am I right, my sister?
A racist
I know all the
Jew,
black guys in chat agree
a white
with me.
supremacist Jew and a white supremacist faggot. Okay, good luck, guys. I
I'm
ain't backing
barely
that project.
I am Mexican more than I am Jewish.
I asked you a question about synagogues. Are they safer now that Netanyahu's doing what he's doing? Or are they less safe?
They're probably less safe.
Okay, so you said we showed them who's boss, but obviously we didn't.
But they're also probably
Jews in the
scrutinized
US,
more. Yeah, like I don't.
And so sorry for the
Hey, Lav, every colonial power tried to use force and violence to show the natives who was boss. How did it work out? Not too well. Say like I don't want to
I'll be a racist.
You're a racist.
Yeah, you probably shouldn't associate with me. You probably shouldn't associate with me as a racist.
Is this mic working?
No, because I'm happy to
Yeah.
say
No,
to the world that you're a racist
All right, well,
and that
guess what?
the
The answer to
Zionist
my question.
project is a racist project. You can have this
I a racist project.
That's fine with me. Me and Grace against you and the
Palestinians and Israelis share 80% of DNA. There's not. It's not a race thing. They're the same race. They're both a Semitic.
Well, whatever.
people.
Ethnicity. Okay.
More like culture.
Right.
Yeah, it's literally
the Palestinians
culture.
are probably more Jewish in the sense of the original people who lived there than the Ashkenazi Jews who
What does Palestine mean? Where does that word come
brutally
from?
oppressed them.
True. Where does the word come from?
It comes from the word Philistine, which was a group of people who were native to that area.
Palestine comes from the Romans, who gave it to the land after they kicked the Jews out to mean foreigner and immigrant.
Palestine comes from the word Philistine. The Philistines are in the Old Testament. Crack open a Bible sometime, and it won't be good for you to see what they say about guys who do what you do. But pass over those passages and see how it says Philistine.
Well.
So are you familiar with the word Philistine?
The Palestine comes from the Greek word Philistia, which is not similar to the Hebrew word for Philistine. These are two different root words.
No, it comes from the same word. Why do you think the Greeks called them Philistines?
No, it's the same
Philistia.
word.
No, Philistia comes from Greek. The word for Philistine comes from Hebrew. These are two
Okay,
different.
but where did the Greek get the name from, moron?
It came from the word for foreigner, I believe.
Hebrew.
Hold on.
It came from Hebrew, you idiot. This is what happens when you take a dick up your too much. You can't think straight.
Culture matters more than race. If you look cleaner, you look more educated. If you look like you can speak more eloquently, if you're more loquacious, you do better in life. That's cultural Darwinism, right? That's Western progress.
Lav. Let me speak on behalf of the European people who have interacted with your people for a long time. We have not found
my people are Mexican.
Hold on a sec. Well, whatever. You're Jewish people. You're 13%. We have not overall found that dealing with you all in terms of banking has been unbelievably positive. You ever heard? There was a little pushback in the 40s, if you recall. Do you know what that pushback was from? It was from being fucked over by people who were very intelligent, very sophisticated, knew a lot of vocab, but used it.
Okay, so you go in. So racism is bad. Racism is bad, but you justify the Holocaust. Ben, kill yourself by all means, and I mean this. And I mean this. Yourself.
I'm telling you. You say blending people who are intelligent and sophisticated won't.
You are right. You are precisely the reason why I think that people should have a license to breed. It should be illegal to breed without a license. Right. It's insane to me that there are more of you.
Because a bitch like you will sit around, act like a whore, and never have kids. Where I have 6 and would like to make another 6. So
I'll have kids when I am mature enough to not abuse them. Your children do not have that luxury of you waiting.
Perfect. That's perfect because we don't need any more racists in the world. So you will never reach that point.
No, we need
pretty much.
We need way more racists.
This down here we already know is not going to reproduce. So. Genetic
W. There's probably a few babies I got somewhere.
Couple of happy accidents.
Quite a few from high school, maybe.
Oh no. Yeah, Ben. Real quick question: you separate extremist governments from the people. Like the Muslims in Iran are not the extremist government that fucks with its people, right? You obviously draw that distinction.
What is it?
A distinction between an extremist government, like in Iran, where it's like an Islamist extremist government that fucks with its own people, versus the Muslims extremist. Who are just versus everyday people who happen to follow that religion, where there's that distinction between
there are most Muslim majority countries are moderate.
And
what?
The few that,
wait, which one?
Indonesia.
You think Indonesia's a moderate country?
Compared to who? The Philippines?
You know the least moderate country in terms of its relations with other countries? There's 2 that top the list. Israel and the United States. We start wars constantly. When has Iran ever gone to war with another country?
You mean
has never first strike
in terms of foreign affairs?
But well, that's one aspect of it.
People
that's just one aspect of it.
Which countries are the strongest, though? I mean, not Israel. The US.
Most Muslims. Turkey is a moderate country.
Muslims.
Turkey is a secular country.
The point I'm
Mohammedans.
The point I'm getting to is would you agree there are certain things within certain cultures, some that are bad in American culture and some that are bad in Middle Eastern or other cultures, where it's like we can criticize and optimize to like increase human well-being and reduce suffering, right? Like not everyone's doing it perfect, right? Yeah,
Absolutely.
So I think
I'm not
kind of what
I think Islam has serious problems. I think it treats women.
Yeah, and some of those countries, like there's a whole protest about it in Iran when the 16-year-old chick got killed because she wasn't wearing the hijab, her hair was exposed, and it's like, yeah, you're taking the religion too seriously, guy. Like people don't need to get beaten to death over.
I just think you got a religion that's not really a religion. Yes.
Yeah, exactly. And it's people weaponizing the book to do their own nefarious.
I agree. Yes, that's right.
Yeah. So I guess what I'm trying
that's
to get
what the Israelis do. Like they don't believe in the Bible. Any Israeli who believes in the Bible would recognize that God threw them out of the land for their failure to embrace the Messiah. Obviously,
I'll be straight up that I don't know enough about Israel Palestine to fully comment. I'm doing my research before I jump into saying some dumb shit. But I would say the distinction is like Hamas versus Palestinian civilians. Even if they have a reason to be choosing rebellion through terrorist acts, there's the distinction between those carrying out the violence and those that just happen to fucking live in the area. And then the IDF versus Israelis who are like, bro, I just was born here. Like, out of here. I hate that I'm in a war zone, but it's not all. It's not on all of them. So
that's
I guess that's what I'm trying to get at. That, like, to clarify in a way, I think we're allowed.
But the Israelis,
these cultural things.
The Israelis are colonialists, so in a sense, the civilians are part of the colonial project.
I get,
and that's a problem. But I get 3 generations down. It's hard to blame.
Yeah, it's one of those. Like my parents escaped Iran for me to live in Canada. I'm first generation born here. We escaped the extremism, and then people are like, we stole this land from the natives. I'm like, yeah, and I'm because of the electricity and the modern technology. I'm glad white people did take over here, but I understand why y'all are pissed. It's just that ain't my fault, right? So, anyways, I'm rambling around the idea that. I think,
but there weren't a lot of natives in Canada. It's not like Palestine where the place was completely.
What about the United States?
Well, I mean, I'm talking like
it's a racist colonial project. Absolutely, right? Not everywhere. And there were people who said, "Let's not do it this way." There's no reason that here in the state of Rhode Island we couldn't live in harmony with the native Narragansett people. There's no reason we had to go to war with them. We could have. It could have been a win-win. Same with the Jews in Palestine. I mean, obviously the Jews have incredible connections. They have a real, Western modern thing. They could have worked with the Palestinians instead of fucking them over because they're assholes. Yes, they could have both won. The Palestinians could have, and the Jews had no reason to be at war, except the Israelis were just being fucking assholes. And they thought, like Lav here, that the best way to deal with people that you want to move into their land is to terrorize them. And that's what they did.
Destroy them all.
In the Nakba, we want to talk about Nakba. Do you know what they fucking did in these Palestinian towns to get these Palestinians to leave? They would take kids out of the town and kill them in front of the town, and so that they ran the fuck away. That's what these guys did. That's how they got their town. And they planned it out ahead of time.
I think Nakba was awful. Have you seen Jared Kushner's Lex Friedman interview?
No.
Well, he talks about how, I mean, no person in their right mind thinks that, the Nakba was a good thing. It was like extremely horrifying, right? Like
except the Israeli government has never, it doesn't even let you say the word.
Okay, great.
So that's not true. So yeah, you're right. They're
most
crazy.
People are averse to violence. Yeah, I'm anti-Netanyahu. But what we have to...
You're anti-Israel.
No, I'm pro-Israel.
The state of Israel will not allow you to utter the word Nakba within its bounds. It's an illegal act.
Okay, Ben, I don't know what the that has to do with what I'm saying right now. I am pro-Israel.
It's not just Bibi Netanyahu.
Jews have a right to a self-determined state. They absolutely do. I think that they do. I think that's a good thing. And I think that...
What do you mean by Jews? What do you mean by Jews?
I mean people who are ethnically Jewish, religiously Jewish. I think that they have a right to a self-determined state with a Jewish government.
What is a Jewish... but an ethnic Jew who's like an atheist and a devout Jew who,
are both still at risk.
It's not one people. It's not one people.
They are both still at risk for persecution.
People technically, like
if they act like assholes.
Religion works when you convert. There is a quasi-religious miracle that happens.
I missed the part. I missed the part of 20th century Europe where Jews were going around blowing up buildings and massacring citizens at music festivals.
Yeah, no.
Maybe I
Jews
was
are just
sleeping.
Jews are
No,
just
it happened
creating
in the Middle East
healthcare.
in the 1920s,
Jews
the
are
1930s,
just-
and the
Jews
1940s.
are just
There was a
creating
sustained
drugs that help
campaign of
people and
terrorism against the
healthcare.
British and the Palestinians. It was a terrorist project. It was a colonialist terrorist project.
Anyway,
that's uncontroversial. The Nakba
so
was
what Jared
an
Kushner
act
says,
of terrorism against the native people of the land in order to take over their towns. It was planned and acted on as a terrorist project.
Okay,
so you should read some fucking history. Maybe get those dicks out of your ass and get your head in a book.
So what Jared Kushner says is that there is no use in talking about the past. There is no use in talking about the past.
That's what all abusers say. That's what all abusers say.
Progressive countries talk about how to move forward, right? So from this point on, that is just true. So do you think that?
No, it's not. Unless you learn the lessons of history. How does it go, Lav? Have you ever read a book? You are condemned to repeat them.
I've read a couple.
Yes. Abusive people. You want to talk about abuse, right?
Yes, we remember
abusive
the past.
people tend to replay their abuse on the next generation.
But they do. Okay.
People who've been through a Holocaust then enact a Holocaust to show that now they're in charge. That's how trauma works, bitch.
Retribution is the problem. Retribution is the problem. So you
learn
remember
from the past.
Yes,
learn.
But retribution is a problem. No Israeli thinks that Nakba was hell yeah, good. We love displacing and killing.
That's the official position of the state of Israel.
No, it's not. You're so stupid.
Yes, it is. You can't. Okay, so I'm lying that you can't
Netanyahu
mention
has one of the lowest approval rates of any fucking president.
The nation of Israel
oh my God.
says that if you mention the Nakba, you go to jail.
Oh my God, you're so.
That's not a collective denial. I agree that if the Israelis make sense of their history and they're honest, okay, then there can be peace. But they're fucking liars.
Any adult who is alive during Nakba is dead now. They're dead.
That's not true. 1948, idiot.
Any adult who was alive during that time is dead. Do you know how time works? Do you know how long the human lifespan is, babe? It's not 150 years.
Babe, there are people in their 90s who were there.
I'm sorry, who committed it?
Committed what?
Who committed murder? Who displaced?
Oh, you mean the Jewish militias?
Yeah, they're alive still?
Probably, but whatever. But like,
no, they're not. You fucking retard. That's not how the human lifespan is not that.
You're being a fucking retard, right? If a government does something,
those people
they
are
have
dead.
to apologize
so now,
for it.
Those people are dead. So now there are millions of Palestinians and millions of Jewish Israelis, and there are millions of Palestinian Israelis who had no part in Nakba, who oppose all violence, and their governments are at odds with each other. And now they all have to suffer. Namely, Hamas's people have to suffer because of Hamas's actions. Right? Because most Palestinians are completely innocent. But because of Hamas,
you just said, let's forget about the past. So now you're going back to the past. October 7th is over. Let's move forward. Right? Isn't the same thing work?
Yeah, I think what Netanyahu is doing is disgusting. I think he should stop.
Okay, but if you go back to October 7th, can we go back to October 6th? No? Can we go back to 1967?
Go back to
we go back to the continuous.
She didn't.
No one has ever stopped the project that started with the Nakba. It's ethnic cleansing. It happens every day in Israel. That lunatic settlers go to break international law, break their own national law, and settle, and they're protected by the Israeli Defense Force violently with machine guns against the people who have lived in that land for centuries. There's no past. It's going on right now.
In the West Bank, this is true, but the border of the Gaza Strip has not changed since like 1950.
Yeah, because
1948.
Who the f wants to move into a prison?
No, I'm saying like.
Do you know how big the Gaza Strip is?
No, the area around it.
They're not occupying, like they're not making settlements in Gaza.
No,
since, like,
because they don't want to have any Jews there when they nuke it.
My problem is like, because I agree with you to some extent, Ben, like, but both governments are in the wrong. Both governments have written in their laws that there are things like there are things.
There's
like
only one government in Gaza. It's the Israeli government.
No,
you're stupid.
No.
There's a secular party and there's Hamas.
What does the government in Gaza have the power to do? It has no military.
It has the power
Yes,
to
it does.
does.
Yes, it does have a. Oh my God, you're so stupid. You're so stupid. You're so stupid. You're so
There's
stupid.
a Palestinian military
Oh my
in
God.
Gaza? No, there isn't.
Yes.
It's occupied by the IDF. There's only one military in Gaza. It's the IDF, and it's in a foreign country.
IDF has not been in Gaza since the fucking 60s.
Who runs the checkpoints? Who runs the checkpoints?
Oh
The
my God,
Palestinians?
checkpoints! There are no checkpoints in Gaza.
So now
The only
borders are bad?
checkpoint is the
Wait, so
border.
now borders are bad? So now borders are bad? Should we open our doors to Mexico and just let them fucking bus in a bunch of like drug mules and fucking guns? Are you stupid?
What do you mean borders are bad? You put people in an open
there
air
are
prison
checkpoints.
and tell
There
them
are
there's
checkpoints.
plenty of room
When
to
your
move around here.
government,
They
when
can't
your
get a
government's
job,
charter
they can't
is
feed
to
their kids,
Ben,
you blow up
when
their
your government's-
hospitals,
when
you
you're
destroy all their
democratically-
infrastructure,
when you're
and you say,
Democrat,
like, I don't know
Ben,
what's wrong here.
shut
What are
the
you
fuck up.
fighting about?
When you're
You might have a beef with us? How dare you?
When your democratically elected government has in their charter is to get rid of Israel, and they have denied every peace treaty that has ever been drawn into existence, and they're saying we are going to kill you, and they're sending rockets over, and they're doing all, and they don't, and you don't know. Shut the fuck up! No, let me finish because I let you ramble for way too fucking long, and then suddenly you have a border, and there's going to be of course there's going to be a checkpoint to see, so that we don't let in any fucking crazy people who want to kill random civilians in Israel, because anytime Israel has lifted any sort of restriction, there's been suicide bombings in Tel Aviv, there's been rockets launched, there's been underground Israel has tried to lift restrictions, but they can't because Hamas is fucking their people. Absolutely fucking their people.
Constantly. Lev, if you come over here with a gun and shove me in the bathroom and tell me that I should enjoy it and thank you for it, I'm gonna bust that door down and kick your ass.
Oh my God.
So, and you could say, hey, well, that was you who did that.
That's not
No,
fact.
it isn't.
I'm not gonna lie. Lav, would you do that to me?
No, and also a government should absolutely tell you to de-escalate. The people of your government and a government's job should be to de-escalate problems like this, and Hamas does not do that. And it is a detriment to their people.
What are you talking about? Who is sustainably bombing and killing? And you know who half of the people dead are? Kids.
Why would Hamas, knowing that Israel is one of the greatest military powers in the world, commit a terrorist attack and think that nothing was going to fucking happen? They don't care about their people. They don't care.
Why? That's a good question. Why?
What do you mean? Why don't they care about their people?
What is their purpose? What was their purpose?
National suicide.
To get rid of Israel.
No, to provoke Israel to show their true colors. Instead of dying
it's like
few at a time, we're finally going to draw the world's attention to this thing that the world wants to ignore.
It's because
and
it's the only time. The only time
the Israeli project is over, and I agree.
The only time Hamas aid is when they start wars like this. The only time they get aid, the only time they get political attention at all from the UK, from the US, and whenever they do something stupid, they get more money from the US because we're retarded. And we
Why are we retarded?
Because we don't keep giving.
Okay, so you want
money
kids to
both
die
places
who've been bombed? You want kids to die in hospitals who've been bombed because so racists like you think they're monkeys and they should die in the ICU because you don't think Hamas should be able to keep them alive, right?
What are you?
And that's
no,
okay.
This is what I think. This is what I think because you are.
People want to wipe the Jews. No wonder.
Netanyahu and Israel itself has a sophisticated enough military to go in covertly, and I think that they should occupy. I think that we should send more IDF into Gaza. I think that there should be more covert operations to get rid of Hamas intel and terrorists, right? Instead of just bombing indiscriminately. I think that's disgusting. I think there's no reason why we should do that. But either way, people would mad. They're like, either the IDF is occupying, getting rid of Hamas, or we're bombing everyone, whatever. I mean, obviously there is a worse one.
Here's a news flash. People who are being oppressed are not going to be okay with their oppression until the oppression ends. If the oppressors are honest that they've been doing that.
But if Israel lifts restrictions, if Israel lifts restrictions even a little bit, they are a tiny country who is surrounded by anti-Semitic countries who don't want them to exist.
There's Semitic countries.
Have you heard about the 6 Days War? Yes, 30% of people in the workforce in Palestine work in Israel.
What is the 6 Day War in response to? What was it in response to?
Israel wanting to be recognized. Israel wanting to be recognized as a state and wanting a trade route. So they went into Egypt and they tried to get
terrorist project, the colonial project of
they would not recognize Israel as a state
and fucking them over. Yes. Why
Israel,
should they?
Because first of all, they're the best middle. They are the most educated, the most progressive Middle Eastern country. They are the richest. They have the best military. Like, why is that?
Wow,
it is. It's also it is. Shut up. It's also advantageous. It is also advantageous.
It was the most educated country in Europe.
It is also
the most sophisticated.
It is
Germany.
It is advantageous to have a Western stronghold in the Middle East. It is advantageous for the world to have a Western stronghold in the Middle East.
The Middle East is happy to interact.
I don't care. The Middle East will ruin the fucking world. They will ruin the world if left to their own devices.
Who was responsible for the death of over 1 million Iraqis because of sanctions? The United States of America. When has the Iraqi government done anything against us? Never.
Oh my God.
Wait,
1 million people that we.
Who was the leader of Iraq?
But they're darkies. They're darkies, even though they're not. They're Arabs, even though they're not. They're Persians. They have a sophisticated.
Who cares about skin color? I don't.
It's your justification.
No, I don't.
So you don't care that 1 million Iraqis were killed by us on behalf of the Israelis?
Yes, death is bad. Influencers against death. Of course, I think that death is fucking bad.
It's only bad
stupid?
when it's Jews, though, right?
No. It's bad always. What are you talking about? I don't care about skin color at all. I care about culture.
Yeah, but that's just a cope. You care about skin color.
No, it's not.
You're a racist.
No.
You're just calling them mud monkeys or whatever.
I called them mud people because they are mud people. They live in fucking concrete huts. They put like 16 families inside one bedroom apartment.
Because they're
skin color.
Hard.
How are there refugees in a place? How are there Palestinian refugees in a place called Palestine?
Yeah, you should ask yourself that question.
No, you should ask yourself that question. We give millions. We gave last year at least we gave millions of dollars. In fact, 2 weeks before the October 7th attack, we just Joe Biden what is it called? Greenlit an initiative to give Palestinians over $150 million, and when we
how
give
much
them that
did we
money,
give to the Israelis?
and when we billions. But when we give those
$14 billion to do their genocidal project,
stupid.
How about no?
You're stupid.
How about no?
I don't think
want fucking money.
I agree with you. I agree with you.
To ethnically cleanse Israel because they don't want to deal with the people who live there.
Ben, you're retarded. Oh my God! You don't even listen. We give hundreds of millions of dollars to Palestinians.
I'm starving to
death.
Great people.
No, we gave them the money. We gave them the money for relief. We give them the money for relief, and then they don't use it for relief. They use it to build fucking rockets.
Rav, you fuck a little kid up the ass over and over again. You buy him a candy bar. I get it. He should be grateful for the candy bar.
Oh my God, you're so dumb.
Weird.
I get how abuse works.
I feel like
you make him feel guilty when he goes, I don't appreciate the candy bar. Stop f***ing me up the ass, please. But I get how it works.
Well, I mean,
you're ungrateful for the candy bar.
Israel offered to stop several times, and for some reason they just kept attacking Israel.
No, they never did. No, they never did. They never wanted peace.
And
anyways, here's a little factoid for you, Lav. Who started Hamas? Who funded Hamas? Whose project is Hamas? Bibi Netanyahu. That's who.
Netanyahu started Hamas in the 1990s.
Yes, just like we started Al Qaeda when they were fighting the Russians. Yes.
Okay.
Bibi Netanyahu loves Hamas because they are the perfect
Your point is that
process.
That's
facts.
Your point is that barbarians are against colonialism. Yes, this is true. There will always be rebels who are opposing
barbarians are
Western
in favor
influence.
of colonialism.
No. Oh my god. Okay, whatever.
Civilization is
There
against colonialism.
will always be an uncivilized people against Western
Here's your
influence.
racism again. Here's your racism again.
That's not racism. It has nothing to do with race.
Lav, you said death is bad, but then you said earlier that you hope that all the Palestinians get bombed, that we get the women and children out of there, and then Israel bombs them until they're all dead. You said that earlier.
Yeah, the men. Yeah,
not Palestinians.
Yeah, but she's
all Palestinian.
How do you think the Palestinians are going to do if there are no men?
I think
how's that population
I
gonna
would
go?
be. Listen, if I have to choose, the ends justify the means, baby. The ends justify the means. If there's two people,
Hitler said.
If there's a white, if there's a white person who is a Muslim, and if there's a brown person who is not Muslim, I'm the white Muslim person. I don't care. I don't.
So your hatred goes on religious, like it has whatever you need.
It's almost like it's cultural values. Idiot.
Lav, don't you think 14 million people, a tiny minority of the world, saying like you have to commit genocide if we feel uncomfortable or we're feeling a little paranoid, might be putting themselves in a situation where the genocide is going to be them, not everybody else in the world? Don't you see?
Right.
You're repeating the same
let me repeat to you what I think you're hearing from me. Israel is the best. I back everything they're doing. I think that there's nothing wrong with Israel. I think that Netanyahu's the best president ever. I hate brown people. I hope they all die.
True.
Yes, that's right. You are saying all those things, and then you say little. You say the same that Hitler said. I don't want to kill people. We just want a little more breathing room.
Do you want total war?
And you have Jews understand how you can make it sound
Israel's
like
Israel's influence in the Middle East
undermine the
has
peace process
already
at every
been.
turn.
Israel's stronghold, Western stronghold in the Middle East has already been very advantageous to the women in the region of the Middle East. It already has been. More women are realizing that they should get education.
And themselves are getting bombed and can't even go to a hospital. Exactly. Go visit them and tell them how advantageous.
Okay, so what would you rather?
Under rubble right
so what
now.
would you rather? So what would you rather? All those children and for generations after get raped at 14, get killed if they're gay, just for millions of years without any Western influence? We change nothing. We let them do whatever.
At 14, what is at 14? That they get married young?
They get married young.
Yes.
You're in Utah.
To me, honestly.
You're in Utah. Women in traditional cultures get married young. That's not except in this DGG world.
Oh my God!
To everyone in the Western world.
The Virgin
You should be Muslim. You should be Muslim, Ben. You should live in Palestine.
The Virgin Mary was betrothed at an age of 13 or 14.
Ben, can we get you to say the Hadith or the Shahada? I mean. Can we do like a live Ben Shahada reading?
Because I don't think Muslims are subhuman people, and that the religion of Islam has some things right that I'm.
You're just wrong, I guess.
Right, because I'm not someone who believes like that necessarily homosexuality is fantastic, and I don't think like being on the internet is a good idea. If a culture says maybe not, I agree with them. Does that make me a Muslim?
Wait, Ben, repeat after
I'm
me.
a Christian.
No, you're not. You are not a Christian.
I'm a Catholic Christian.
Yeah, same
you are
thing.
not a Catholic either.
Hey, could I ask a question?
Well, you don't have the right to say that. The Pope.
Yeah, big tech. Talk to me, baby. Talk to me, baby.
Okay, I could see that you were like pointing out some confusion, and I kind of saw how it like went too, because at the beginning you were he asked you like you asked him what does he think about Israel, Palestine thing, and he said it's horrible, and then you were like, no, I think it rules, those mud people. But then a little bit later you said, and you said around, find out, and you were saying things like that. But then a little later you said, I hate what Netanyahu's doing, and I'm totally against it. I think it's horrible. So can you clarify?
But,
what do you think should? What do you think?
There's my wants.
There's my
wants.
You are contradicting yourself completely.
There's my wants and needs, and I am just an American who has an opinion. And then there is a necessity to do what you have to do, or I understand what Netanyahu is doing, right? Like, I understand why he's doing it. I understand why there's a 20% population in Israel who supports Netanyahu, because they're scared. I get it. And also in war, I mean, what's that saying? All's fair in love and war, right? In war, if you throw a rock at someone with a machine gun and they can kill you, they're fucking going to. Maybe don't do that. That's just
they're not.
Thing
not. There's something called restraint, Lav. Don't you understand that?
How
Restraint.
many wars has this standard been applied to in history?
None. Literally none. Literally none. There's an Armenian genocide. There's an Armenian genocide happening right now. Do you hear a peep about it? No.
You don't think countries have ever restrained themselves because they recognize that they're headed towards mutual destruction? What the
mutual destruction. Israel's any single dude. Israel.
Did you go through the Cold War? I was there.
Israel in its infancy. Israel in its infancy still beat Egypt. It still beat Lebanon, Iran, like Palestine. They are the most militarized country probably in the world. They're not using anything.
No, they're not.
The only thing happening if there's another war is that everyone dies in the Middle East. Israel wins every single time. So you either with Israel or you don't.
No, Israel relies on Big Daddy America to back them. Otherwise,
yeah, but that's why they're invincible. So they are kind of
Israel now.
Iran's going to have a nuclear weapon within a few years.
Israel does not need the United States as much as you say they do.
America pays Israel like $6 billion a year. So
more than that, hundreds of billions.
That's a good thing.
That is a good thing.
We should be building up other countries' debt to us. We should be leveraging their debt to us and making them grateful for our military. We should
it is good.
That's what China used to do to us, and we should be doing it to them.
Mind you, the $6 billion is towards the Israeli military. So there's other stuff they fund too. But $6 billion.
We need to protect it. We need to protect a country that is constantly at risk of destruction by its surrounding countries.
No, we don't.
Yes, we do. Yes, we do.
What business is it of the United States of America to give a shit about the Israelis?
It is advantageous, Ben, because it is advantageous for us to have a Western stronghold.
It's because rich Jews pay off politicians. That's all it is.
The only reason America is funding Israel is because Israel was blackmailing America because they stole 32 pounds of nuclear weaponry.
It is advantageous for America to have a Western stronghold in the Middle East.
No,
that is enough reason you're retarded. You're actually dumb.
My kids are going to get drawn into another disastrous war.
They won't.
Higher terrorist
won't.
Because of this advantageous alliance in which my tax dollars go to a terrorist-founded apartheid regime. No fucking thanks. You can say it's advantageous.
They're not getting dragged into anything. The U.S. does not have a draft system right now, nor will it ever have one again.
You should look into it. It does.
The draft has been suspended for like 50 years. It would require
all they gotta do is
Congress to get it repassed. And who is going to do that?
Well, they did it in Vietnam. They did it in Vietnam.
No, they didn't. The draft already existed. They didn't have to pass it through Congress to start drafting people.
So I didn't sign up for selective service. All males don't have to sign up for selective service. They do.
You cannot get drafted. You cannot get drafted unless the United States reinstates the draft program, which would require an act of Congress, which would require a majority in both houses.
And who runs Congress? And who runs Congress? The Jews.
Very selective.
There you go.
They're not even 20% of Congress. Are you stupid?
The Jews
don't run Congress. Everyone knows the Jews run Congress.
Oh my God.
Say
you're racist. You're racist, Ben. You're racist. This is propaganda. This is anti-Jew propaganda.
Oh,
you
so
are racist.
AIPAC doesn't exist? AIPAC
you are racist.
Children with cancer run Congress. Have you heard of the Children with Cancer Political Action Committee?
It's no problem for you. It's no problem for you in terms of funding to say Israeli policy.
So saying that
people call you an anti-Semite. No.
So stereotyping a whole race based off of their genetic makeup is wrong unless it's Jewish people, right?
I'm not talking about a race. I'm talking about a Zionist lobby. It can be all kinds of different people. The Zionist lobby doesn't control politics in America. It absolutely does. It controls foreign policy, and everyone knows it.
Everyone's smart as a Zionist. Everyone's smart as a Zionist.
It's not even the Zionists.
This is Bobby. How can I help you?
Well, what the did we go to war in Iraq for? What for?
The Jews.
Oil, money.
Why did 9/11 happen?
Western influence in Middle East. That was an advantageous war.
Theory
that was an advantageous war.
We've become entangled in a colonial project in the Middle East on behalf of the Israelis. That's a conspiracy theory? You don't think wealthy Jews make contributions on behalf of both parties on behalf of the Zionist Israeli government to ally America against its own best interest towards it? All that is just a conspiracy theory.
Then if
that
you
doesn't
went
happen.
to war,
Sheldon
if you went to
Adelson
war,
doesn't make huge contributions to both parties. Like,
if
okay,
you
Lev,
went to
then
war,
okay.
you'd have a better life. Your sons wouldn't be cucks. Your daughter wouldn't be an internet attention whore. Your life would be better. More men should go to war, period.
Right. Maybe we should wipe out people like you. Let's have a little cleansing ourselves.
Whoa.
What are you talking about?
But
I'm talking about if you're going to celebrate violence, let's do it. Let's go.
I think
What are you
if you want to
what are you
cleanse an
talking
ethnic
about?
group, if I want to, I'm talking about the logic that you're using. You're using the logic
I'm
of the
not
Holocaust.
using this logic.
You're
What are you
saying you're saying ethnic violence puts hair on your chest. Okay, fine. Let's go. Let's go after you and people like you. If that's fun, I'm all for it.
Sure.
Let's have some real fun.
No,
Why should I go against
I don't
a
think
bunch
she was
of
talking
Arabs?
about ethnic
Why
violence.
don't
though.
we go after your ethnicity that's f***ing our country
war in
over
general.
She's
by
not talking
entangling
about
us in
ethnic-
conflicts that have nothing to do with our national interest and sending our goy boys to fight your fucking wars?
Boy,
Why
that's
not?
so
She's
funny.
talking about
Holy shit.
territorial conquest, not ethnic violence.
Yeah, you're
I've never
Ben.
thought about that. I'm such a goy boy.
You think you're very eloquent, and
The
it's why
Israelis
you think your
are-
IQ is higher than it is. But you're really just loquacious.
Hey, I almost
you're
got that.
really
I almost
stupid.
got that boner. I'm moving towards full erection. Thank you.
Thank you for saying this in front of your daughter. In front of your daughter, you degenerate. Kill yourself.
Okay, Lev.
The world
Lev,
would be better. The world
Lev.
would be better if you killed yourself.
Lev, Grace is 21 years old. She's aware that penises exist. Is that okay?
Oh my fucking
Is
god.
that okay that she's aware that penises exist?
I would never have that. Listen, my dad has done horrible things
You
to
can't
himself and his
pearl
family,
clutch like this.
but he has
You're calling
never
for
actually
genocide.
abused me. What are
Lev,
you talking about?
You
You're
told
such
me
a
about
loser. You're such a loser, Ben. You're chain smoking in your fucking room.
Wait,
you have
I
no
do that.
wife.
Chill.
Your
Yeah,
family's ripped
chill. I do
apart.
that. I have
You
no
probably
I never
eat
had a
like
wife.
I
Oh
do that
my
too.
God.
None of this
That's
is
so
cool.
dysgenic.
Lav, you
This is
talked
so
about
horrifying.
you talked
This is
about
so
what
bad.
Lav, you talked
Oh my
about how
God.
you
I
wanted
became
to
a
have
sex worker because of men
sexual-
like you. I became a
You-
sex worker because of men like
Right,
you.
okay, I get
Because
it,
my
daddy
parents,
issues. Yep,
my
yep. You
parents
couldn't get a
left
job at
open.
McDonald's.
My
Yeah,
parents
you
left
couldn't get a
open
job
the
at McDonald's. You
space.
had to suck.
Men
you
like
absolutely
you
had to suck it.
take advantage of
I
me.
had to suck a dick. I couldn't
Oh
get a
my
job at
God.
McDonald's. My daddy
my
issues
God.
made me sick at age 16. You're in the United States of America. Nobody buys that. No one had a
I was
gun
a
to your
teacher.
head. You're a f***er.
Actually, McDonald's sucks.
First of all, you don't know my history. I was a preschool teacher, and then I got
And
a
you
felony.
suck at night. I don't know what to
That's
tell you.
so hard.
No
No,
one
I
had a gun
didn't.
to your head.
No, then I got a
got a
felony case. I
felony
lost
case?
my job.
Oh, you
I
should be a
couldn't do
librarian
anything.
next.
I worked at
Wow.
Hooters. I worked at Hooters. That was a great job. One of my best jobs. I made a fuck ton of money.
Are
And I
you
started
a
selling
felon
panties.
too?
Not
You're
anymore.
a and you still
I
are,
took-
Lav.
I took a plea of abeyance. I've slept with less people probably than like your daughter at this point. I I had sex for money with 2 men, maybe 3 men.
Okay,
That's
but
like,
I'm
what do you
saying, I'm saying you came on a VC with my daughter, and you started talking to me about your sex fantasy, about what you would do with me. So how
No,
is it that
I didn't.
Yes, you did. You said I'd
You
have you down
started
on your
talking
knees begging
to-
for pussy.
No, you.
Oh, but you
brought
were a
that-
victim of that too, right?
the-
And I want to see it rock
Ben,
hard.
I've never wanted to see
like,
your penis. I've never
you
wanted to
said
see
you
your penis.
did.
It is funny to say that to you because you're a f***ing mess.
Okay.
It makes me feel good that there is someone
Okay,
who
but
is
listen,
more
nigga,
more
my
worthless than
God.
me.
You're just like BB
It
Netanyahu.
makes me feel
You
good to
will
be
not
mean
do
to
the
you.
math.
Is that why you told me
Okay.
to come over?
But you
No,
don't think
Mikey, I
it's
mean it.
inappropriate.
Mikey, please
You
come
can
over.
make jokes, but I can't make jokes, right? Why?
I don't have the responsibility to your daughter that you have.
So should I keep Grace
What
from
res-
talking to you because you're a? Do I owe that
Maybe.
responsibility?
Perhaps.
Okay. But who's the dad here, Lev? Me or you?
I'm doing a better job. I'm doing a
As a
better
dad?
job of fatherhood.
Okay, so
than
then
are.
you should tell her not to talk to you because you're a sleazy who makes
Grace, don't
sexual
talk to me.
comments
I'm a
towards your
sleazy hoe
dad.
who makes
So
sexual
go
comments
ahead.
towards your dad.
You went to go see Destiny and sucked his dick and talked about it. How it wasn't that.
Never sucked his dick.
Okay,
ever.
you talked about how Destiny ate you out for 3 hours, right? Okay, I would not suggest to Grace that she do that thing. Okay, well, intermittently ate you out for 3 hours. I don't think that's worthy of the dignity of a young woman. If Grace had done something like that, I would tell her.
Women shouldn't get head. It should be illegal for women to get head.
They shouldn't talk about it and complain about it and do it with a loser who's a loser.
I agree with you.
She could have acted like you did, and she didn't. You know why? You know why she didn't do that?
Is letting a pear-shaped man eat me out.
Not a like you. Ben.
I'd be lying if I said one of my biggest regrets was not letting a pear-shaped man eat me out and then try to embarrass me online. I am not your mother, Grace. I'm not your mother.
Can you be?